Welcome to GMK Book Club. Now, do you ever stop to think or meditate on the words of our national anthem? Just to quote in part, "O God of all creation." Today we are privileged to have someone who has written a book on the national anthem. The book is Kenya Arise, a letter to my people. I am Jimmy Wambua, and as we start the whole program, let's first listen to the first stanza of our national anthem. Catherine Muredi, thank you so much for being with us today and actually writing a book on the national anthem. Talking about the national anthem being a prayer by the people of Kenya to God of all creation. And actually looking at the preamble of our constitution, it says that we acknowledge the supremacy of the Almighty God of all creations. Do Kenyans really capture the spirit of this song?
I think it's good to know a bit of the background of how the anthem as we know it came to be. Apart from the tune being picked from the Pokomo community, there were two other songs that were presented as part of the choice of anthems. So there were three in total. And the three songs were presented in a meeting held by Mzee Jomo Kenyatta at his Gatundu home. What he had asked was that his cabinet come over and an audience come over, including children, and the choice songs would be presented, and out of whatever was presented, one song would be chosen as our national anthem. When the meeting was going on, the cabinet couldn't make up their mind which of the three songs should be picked, and what Mzee did was actually talk to the children and ask them which of the three songs appealed to them. And when our anthem was played as we know it today, all the children were for it. So coming from that, that says to me that, you know, out of the mouth of babes, praise arises, and those children may not have known the content of what was being sung, that is the lyrics, but there's something that appealed to them. Now, a child in that audience who was 10 years old then is approaching 60 years old today. And you can imagine, when we go to school, we sing this anthem on a Monday or a Friday and the flag is being raised. We were taught to sing the anthem when the flag is being raised, but we weren't taught the ethos, what exactly we were confessing when we sang the anthem.
Justice be our shield and defender. People, when they hear about justice, they just think about courts and magistrates and lawfulness and all that. But in your book, you give an expanded capture of what justice be our shield and defender. Just take us through that.
Okay, now if you do not understand that justice is right and fair treatment, then you don't understand what justice is. Because right and fair treatment is something that you cannot argue about, whether it is a child or an old Mzee or an old mama. If you talk about being right and fair, they click. It's not something, you know, you negotiate about. You
seem to parallel heavily on one of the religious books, specifically the Bible.
Yes.
What made you take that route of writing on our national anthem?
When I chose to pick the Bible, it was not out of discrimination for other religions. It was simply that, you know, I am engaging myself in prayer. And so I will look at it from
the way
I pray. Mm-hmm. That is not to discriminate other Kenyans. The other thing, as you know, I talk about it, I realize that the things that we speak of in our anthem run across any religion. If I talk of integrity, even justice, as we've just spoken about, if you go to the Quran, if you go to other scriptures from other religions, you realize that those principles remain right across the board.
Thank you for that coverage in depth about justice and being our shield and defender.